All right.
You just want to get up and talk.
Oh, Jen, are you going to do it?
So this is the ex-phys laboratory, not just the class. Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you for having me here today. Some of you have had me in anatomy and physiology. Some of you managed to avoid me in anatomy and physiology. But a few of you that have gone through the gauntlet are still going through it. Okay. Now, what I study as a researcher is both cardiovascular physiology and exercise phys, as you're going through today. But I also, because of my background in neurobiology and neurophys, is I got my start in researching in head trauma, traumatic brain injuries, and worked at the imaging center at UNM for when I was your age, as an undergrad and then as a postgrad, until I went on to get my master's and my doctorate in physiology. Now, when we came here back to Eastern, I started searching for things to study on top of my diabetes studies and cardiovascular research. And kind of came across with one of my grad students, a former football player, to start looking at concussion protocols. And what is out there to start testing? I asked what was being tested by all the students here, and they said, oh, well, we get the impact. You get it at the beginning of your first season, and if you get a concussion, they give it to you again. Or Jenna's dad here takes care of you and smacks you around and asks you a few questions and has you look at his finger and has you go through a few tests, and then Laura Ferguson doing the same thing. And what we started to realize was it's not stopping anything, it's not helping anything as far as what the concussion protocols were, because they're always not exactly accurate. And athletes tend not to report all their concussions as well, so it's not necessarily the physician's fault or the practitioner in the case of the athletic trainer's offices. It's not reported, and the repetition of concussions keeps coming back. Soccer, football, basketball, volleyball, you guys smack your heads on the ground. So we had some concerns. So we started saying, all right, well, what kind of testing could we do to start looking at these? I've had a background in neurocognitive assessment, so I started looking into some of the literature. We decided to start a few tests. We got a pretty large battery. And we worked with Dr. Shaughnessy. We started backing it back down a little bit to where it's more like an hour or so instead of just a 20-minute computerized test. And it seemed to start working, and we published our first data with Shaughnessy showing his dual task assessment was the most important, basically trying to figure out the cognitive deficit with a physical test at the same time. So we started doing balance testing and giving neurocognitive assessment during balance testing, with a number of errors in an athlete after they'd already been released to go back and play was far greater and more significant than the people that had just repeated the test as controls. And so we were a little concerned that athletes are going back out on the field, and not that we wanted to hold you off, but just to get a better assessment of time to recover. So time to play is extremely important, but your ability to play with the right time to go back is also important. If you go back too early, your probability of increasing a concussion again and getting an even greater cognitive deficit from a secondary concussion was accelerated, significantly accelerated, in somebody that shouldn't have been out there to begin with. Okay? It's about quality of play and eventually quantity over for your lifetime of play. Okay? You get one concussion, and then what happens if you come back too early and the secondary concussions happen? Because you don't have the reaction time or the cognitive reaction to the set of plays that are going on. Okay? Let's put it this way. You're a linebacker. All right? And your job is to take out that running back, right? Fast guy, fastest, most elusive guy on the entire field. But you're also supposed to be the shadow for the quarterback in case he tries to get outside. Now, you've had a concussion, and they said you're cleared to return to play because you can pass their test. You don't show major concussive symptoms at rest, not during play, but at rest. You're not showing these concussive symptoms. You start exercising, and now your body has kind of a secondary neurophysiological job. Well, it starts taking away from some of that cognitive job as well that should be going on. Your ability not just to react, but to read the play. Right? Cuts through the A gap, ready to come up through the middle. You think you got the running back, and all of a sudden, here comes the lineman around the other side to block you. You're supposed to react to two different guys. Okay? Maybe the tight end's coming to cut you off. Your cognitive ability to read that play quickly and then make an adjustment could be limited. Right? Now, here you are, 200-pound linebacker going up against a 240-pound tight end, and your job is to take out that running back, you get clocked. Because normally you would have been able to make that quick adjustment, and now you can't. Now you might have a second concussion. Now you're out even longer. Sound awful? Soccer wouldn't be much different, okay? It's hard to make that secondary adjustment on a cross, across the middle, on a corner kick. Right? Basketball player having to adjust to a post coming on the screen. And you're supposed to be covering the shooting guard or something like that. It makes a big difference. Okay? So the tests that we've come up with are these dual task tests. And we compare it directly to the impact testing that you have. And we also compare it to a secondary computerized test called the TOVA, which actually was built for attention deficit disorders. And what we found in our athletes that were in post-concussive syndrome, where it had multiple concussions and were still cleared to play at this point in time, that they showed a greater deficit than most of our controls. Okay, and they are speed of reaction time testing. So our testing is a little more sensitive than what you're getting, which is with the athletic training office. So where are we with this testing, and why does it involve you? I don't know if any of you have had a concussion before, or if you've had multiple concussions, or if you've had none at all. Some of you I know have, right? As a former athlete, I know most of you have had a concussion at some sort of point in time, right? I could have been a Harvard professor. I was an athlete, had too many concussions as a kid. Just kidding, I don't know how many concussions I've had because it was, unconsciously. So, I've had concussions skiing over the years. I've had concussions playing soccer, playing basketball. Even got hit in the head a few times with a baseball. Pretty sure I was out. Okay? I could qualify as a multi-concussed participant in our studies. Played a little bit of everything. But it's important, okay, to have this. So what are you concluded in this? We also need baseline. We need to have an identification of what normal people look like, right? Now, you're not necessarily normal because you're college students. You tend to have an IQ about 5 to 10 points higher than the average. Any college student. You start to become a grad student, you start looking about 10 or 15, 20 points higher. It's amazing the difference really quickly amongst educated and those that aren't. Now, we still need a nice clear baseline of what's going on in these college athletes. So you are in that mode. Okay? So what we have is in our testing currently, and we've even started working on younger student athletes, ages 10 to 17, who are starting contact sports. But in this concussion protocol and the consent forms, when you see it and read it, what you're going to notice is that it's a pretty lengthy test, and we're trying to do a couple different things. One is we're doing the dual task that we try to build the baseline and make a better argument for using this kind of testing. And it's also cheap. Not every university and high school and junior high can afford online testing or have a sports physician in-house that can help to take care of this. So as far as being a student athlete at this university, some of it you're privileged because you do get relatively good coverage between the athletic training department, Dr. Sievers, and the ability to have the software to do this testing. So it's not cheap, not every place has it. So why not also develop tests that don't require much equipment, but still can do the same kind of assessment, speed of reaction time? Dual task. So the two dual tasks that we're looking at are looking at balance and cognitive assessment. But we've come up with another one, and the baseline is really important to get run in this case. So just in case some of you have a secondary, we tried to make it more like infield play cognitive testing. All right? You don't just sit at a computer, all right? We don't have like a video game team and looking at concussion of a video game team. How would you do that? I don't know. The video game athlete decided to throw the remote at the wall, bounce back, hit him in the head, and has got a concussion. You know, there goes our funding. For the athletes, what we've tried to design within the last couple of years is a new dual task in which we have you run. Okay, we bring you up to, what does anybody know what, because you're in the class to know this, what's your heart rate reserve?
Oh, we're just about to do that today.
Oh, that means you should have read ahead. Right? You already read this before you came to class. What is your heart rate reserve? Well, it is a calculation based off your max and your resting heart rate. Okay? Now, if you're going to start prescribing people aerobic conditions, you're going to bring them up to a specific percentage of the heart rate max and their reserve rate. All right? How do you calculate somebody's at maximum exercise? What should be their max heart rate? That one's simple. What is your, how old are you? 22. What should be, if we're going to take him to maximum exercise based off heart rate, what is our target heart rate? He's 22. We're going to bring him up to 220? You got part of the calculation, right? We're not going to take him to 220. But no, let's go down. About 220 minus your age. So he's sitting around 198, right? Quick math. 198, 200 wouldn't be very, if he's fit, getting him up to 205 probably wouldn't be that difficult at a max. If he's not a person that's fit, doesn't exercise very much, you're not going to get him up that high. Now that's the max target heart rate. Okay? Is this lab also the one that wants to come over and do the
VO2? Yes.
So if we were to come over and look at maximum oxygen uptake,
All that to this.
okay, if we're going to cover maximum oxygen uptake, we needed to get him up to pretty close to his maximum heart rate to guarantee that he is at his VO2 max, his ventilatory oxygen uptake maximum. Okay, which we can test here as well. The assessment of this is important in understanding that heart rate. Right? So what do we get you up to as far as the testing? We're not bringing you up to maximum heart rate to see if you can figure out something. We bring you up to 60% of your heart rate max reserve. Okay, so we take your resting heart rate, we calculate what your max would be, we calculate 60% of that reserve and get you up to an exercise intensity that would bring each of you to 60% of your maximum heart rate reserve. Now, for a fit athlete, okay, that does aerobic, your intensity is going to be really high to get you up to 60% compared to somebody like, I don't know, myself. Right? The professor doesn't do much exercise, as much as we should at least. So that heart rate reserve 60% also changes the intensity. But it's more realistic to running around the field and then during a cognitive test. It's a really fast cognitive test. Okay, we use the triple stroop in the treadmill exercise. But it's more realistic to what you'd be doing on the field. Again, trying to figure out the play while running down the field. Trying to react to something while being in motion. So just like the balance test, it is a dual task test, but at the same time, we can assess if there's a difference in between those that are concussed and those that are not concussed. What could we predict based off those that are concussed? They would be more like performing on the field while having a head trauma. Does that make sense? As opposed to sitting in front of a computer and then determining whether you're your return to play is appropriate or not. Okay. So the test generally lasts 1 or 2 sessions. They're about an hour each, okay, give or take. They can be compacted into one session. And what you'll notice when you start going through this, we look at gross motor, we look at fine motor, looking at reaction, hand time. We're doing dual task assessments, so try to make any physical measurements while doing cognitive assessment. And it gives us an overall idea of what should the average student look like, and would be a better all-around test for at least a baseline when you come to a university or start an athletic program. And then have a secondary assessment afterwards based off of the severity of the concussion. And there's 2 forms. One is a consent, the other one is a physical screening examination. It's like if you go to the hospital or the doctor's office and they want to know a medical history, it gives us a lot of information that we can look at that may have been causing some of the effects, secondary effects. Okay. Does anybody have any, I know you're not going to, I hear crickets chirping here in a second because you guys never have questions about this. Any concerns about this kind of testing? Again, one of the best things about it is the one that's helping to run the thing is sitting right here in the classroom with you. Okay. Undergrads are running, the graduate students are running these protocols for us. And help to develop the protocols to begin with. So, not only are you supporting understanding of what's going on with cognitive assessment with concussions and return to play time, but you're also supporting undergraduate and graduate research here within the university. So it helps twofold in that case. Do you have any questions about anything to add to it?
No, so I gave you all the paperwork for this at the beginning of the semester. If you have misplaced it, come and let me know and I'll get another copy. Right? Because you need to have that filled in when you go to the lab. There won't be time to sit there and fill in the paperwork when you're there. Right? So make sure that you locate that and do it. And then the only other thing really is how do you want to schedule
That's
them.
partially up to the students that we have in the lab that are running it. Partially depends upon your availability. Now, it can be done on weekends, it can be done potentially in the evenings or in the mornings. Generally what's best to fit around your class and athletic schedules. So there are several of you in here, which is going to make a lot of baseline. You scared there? No, because we're also doing the student one, but we are training more undergrads to learn how to do this assessment training as well. So if you'd also like to learn how to not just be a participant, but participate through running some of the protocols and array limbs and some of these over the last couple of years as well, watching, learning how to do some of the assessment. It's something that you'd also like to learn how to do, then you come in as the participant, we get you running, getting through the protocol, and then go through it a couple times and you can help assess the other students in the class. Most of you are just baseline at this point in time. Is anybody recovering from a recent concussion? Yeah, so you guys would all be at the back end of the return to play portion of the protocol without much problem. So you have no problem coming in and watching, and then maybe potentially helping in the assessment if you're interested.
So what's the best way to schedule with you? Email you, or are there blocks of time in the week where they can just walk in and the protocol will be
Depends on the
available?
availability. Well, we have other experiments that go on,
Yeah, sure.
to the same level. But maybe like a weekend where you can do a block of them at a time. That might be the best way to position. So if she's not off running, because you're still running, correct?
So what I think might be good then, Jenna, is if you can create a timetable that works for you. What times of the day, which days, weekends and things. And then we'll put that on Blackboard, and then you guys can all directly contact Jenna through the Blackboard email on the lab website, right? So once her timetable is up, then you can look at her timetable and email her and make an appointment, or a couple of you get together and make an appointment so that she's not having to run backwards and forwards for one person at a time. I don't know how that works. Is it helpful to have more than one person at a time, or no? Only one person.
Well,
Okay.
it depends on
Nixon.
who else we have.
Available.
You and Sydney, and we've got a couple more students that are coming in, learning these protocols now that are available. That can disperse the time when we have all the available times.
All right, so please remember that this is 10% of your grade for lab. All right, concussions are a big deal right now. The more we find out about them, the more dangerous they are becoming. And so it's important that you have an understanding of what can happen with a concussion. And I think getting in at the start of a new protocol that could become really important would be an interesting experience for you, all right? So it's really important that you communicate with Jenna and make sure, and Dr. Barlow, and make sure that we've got the whole semester to get this done. I'm sure they would prefer to get it done sooner rather than later, right? So don't leave it, please, till finals week. Okay, make sure that you get this planned. I am not going to be chasing you. If I find out, right, at the end of the day that you didn't show and they don't have your paperwork, then that 10% is going away, right? It's not my job to chase you to get it done. We've given you all the information, so take responsibility, be adult about it, and communicate. If, sounds like it's going to be a big if there is absolutely no time on Jenna's schedule that works for you, you need to let me know very, very quickly. That sounds like it's going to be unlikely. But if that happens and you don't tell me, then the 10% is going away. So if there's a problem, you need to let me know. All right? Because there's a minuscule opportunity for a problem there. So let me know if there is one.
Anybody have questions or concerns about the test? Yes, sir.
The science building, right?
It's in Science 220.
Science 220.
Science building, room 220. Anything else? Do you have something to add?
How do you know if you do have a concussion?
If you do have a concussion,
Yeah.
There's several different ways that it can come up. Some of it's just, I mean, the severity is going to depend, is going to be variable amongst people. You know, you always hear about hearing stars or ringing in the ears, or you know, a lack of consciousness is a pretty common. If you get hit, when you open your eyes, your teammates are around you, you've probably had at least a mild concussion at that point in time. And I've been on that one. I don't know how many times I got hit in the head warming up pitchers and as a catcher, and then several times as a soccer player going across.
Mine's better. I fell out of the tree trying to help my captain.
Wow.
I
Smack
don't know
my
that that's
head.
necessarily better.
I think my story's way more fun.
Went up for a header one time. there's the goal wide open, and the next thing I know, this fullback flipped my legs out from underneath me, and I hit my head. Because I just completely, at 6'3", and I was up there, it was a long way down. And banged my head, and the next thing I know, I looked up, and everybody's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, probably a concussion, now that I look back on it, over all these years. It used to be magnet meat, sit in an MRI machine for hours, not because of the concussions, because I worked at an MRI center looking at neural trauma and brain injuries, with disease, as well as things like car accidents. And there's no telling what we saw in all those images of my brain all those years. So that's just a couple of different ways. I mean, just phasing out lack of attention. But a lot of this is also these reaction time, there's some autonomic dysregularities. Post-concussion can be monitored on ECG. There are people that have died post-concussively due to basically their heart stopped with an arrhythmia based on where in the brain you got hit. So the problem with the concussion is the brain is so complex. The variability of where the damage hit can cause all kinds of different issues. Numbness within the hands, such as like a shoulder stinger. If it was in the neck, that could be portions of a concussion. So it's not always cognitive. Sometimes it's reaction. Sometimes it's sensory. Because on these nerve fibers that are getting hit, you've got afferent sensory input as well as motor output. So it could be something as simple as a hand grip deficit, strength deficit. All of those could be signs of concussion. And we test those.
Like, even when you're like lightheaded?
Well,
That's probably just dehydration.
it depends. Again, you know, if you're just, I kind of feel lightheaded, I've been banging around a little bit, that may not be a severe concussion. Now, you get that repeated over years, and the next thing you know, you could have dementia, CTE, and I mean, that could be built up. It's not just those that have concussions. And portions of it's genetic. Some people are a little bit more prone to building up some of the long-term deficits than others. Just because you play football for 30 years, from 10 years old to however old, doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily have that same traumatic injury. It's repetitiveness of linemen, linebackers, safeties, they tend to get it worse over time than anybody else. Quarterbacks eventually, I think one of the saddest things, before you guys were born, there was a quarterback for the Bears in '85 when they did like the Super Bowl shuffle, and they had Walter Payton, but their quarterback, former BYU quarterback, Jim McMahon, he'd been hit so many times. They did a documentary on about 4 or 5 years ago. Guy couldn't even figure out how to drive home. Didn't even know how to get home. He's 45 years old, could not figure out how to drive home. Hit that many times. So it's not just football. Soccer players get punchy in their 30s and 40s, I promise. Okay, lots of heading, boxers, women's field hockey players, and lacrosse players. I mean, it's across the board. Right? The likelihood that it's going to be increased the more contact sports you play. But nobody's safe. Right? Just walking across the street over here, you get hit by a car. Mild traumatic brain injury, even if you walk away, you could have long-term deficit effects. Okay. There's a lot of different symptoms that could come up. To answer your question? Okay, it's variable. So maybe you need to be signing up first. And again, none of this, and this was the biggest deal. I know some of you saw me come into the football locker room last year, and I gave kind of this very similar speech. We had some former football players that were helping out, like Q. Branch was helping out with some of these to begin with, and Kyle Stevens was a former football player. He's now in medical school. He helped with some of these protocols. The interesting part was they had some ideas that they had injuries over the years, and they wanted to partake in some of this in the studies. And so it became research for them. But a lot of these people that had come in, we realized that had multiple concussions over the years. And people didn't realize the deficit. But again, for those that do this, the athletic training department, your coaches do not have any right to have access to any of this data. if you've had multiple concussions, be honest with us. They will never see the data. It is not permissible. It's just like going to a hospital. Nobody else is allowed to have your medical information. And this is your medical information. So participating in this, or if you have other buddies of yours, right? Soccer players, and baseball players, and volleyball, and other football players that would like to, hey, I'd like to take part of this, cross country or track, right? Maybe you got hit with a shot put, I don't know, maybe while running cross country, you got tagged by a car, or a motorcycle, or a bicycle. It does happen. If you have other people that you know that might want to volunteer for this, we'd be happy to take them too.
So if we do take this concussion, or when we do, and like if we do have a concussion, what are you telling us?
No, I just said.
No, that's what I'm
It's
telling
not
you.
allowed.
Okay.
They are not allowed to have any of this information. It's the same thing I came to your locker room last year and said the same thing. Okay? It's nice. This is an additional thing for your information, not just our research, but for you to have an understanding of what your health is. But no, there is no legal means for the coach or the athletic training department to know what you've had. Which we want you to be as honest with us as you possibly can. If you've had them 5 or 6 in the past, please tell us.
Your data, when it's filed, won't be filed with your name anyway,
You are
right? You'll be given an ID number, and so your data will be anonymous
What have you never been
within the
diagnosed?
database.
Say that again.
Never been diagnosed with?
Well, you can think back.
One time.
Okay. Then that's, you'll write that down on that history report.
But I went in to get a check, they said it in, so I don't know. I'll just
Okay.
go.
It might have been minor. You might have been hit enough times with mild.
Just be as honest as you can be, given what you know when you fill the form in. You know, I mean, you can't,
There's the thing about concussions, you don't remember all of them.
no.
So that's the hardest part about the variability of this kind of data is you don't know how many times you've been hit in the head. You know, a lot of the kids around, we've had kids that have done rodeo around here. There's no telling how many times they've had concussions. Falling off a horse, falling off a fence, getting kicked in the head. They are not tested like you, the rest of you athletes that have come in and done the impact. They have no protocol for the impact for them, which I was just
Shocking, isn't it?
I was flabbergasted
That's
that they were a
shocking.
college athlete and they weren't given the same
That's shocking.
access to this pre-concussion testing. If you have any questions, you don't have to bombard Jane. You are, please email me about them, okay? She's not the only one running this, she just so happens to be in the class. I didn't want to take the spotlight. Okay? If you look on the consent form, Dr. Severs is also on this consent and has access to this information because we utilize him also as reference. All right? He's been doing this a long time. You guys typically see him or the athletic trainers here when there is concussion or any other injury. So he's been very good in helping us and helping redesign some of these tests as well. So we have physicians on board, we've got neurocognitive psychiatrists and specialists in the field, and it's been developed with grad students. So we got a really nice little protocol. It's a little more streamlined than it was in the past, but it asks a lot more questions. So, and if you have had an impact test because you are an athlete, you'll notice on the very last page, we have a consent form with it. Oh yeah, Laura Ferguson, the head of the athletic training office, also knows about this form that just lets us have access so we can do statistical comparisons to your impact scores if you have them. That doesn't mean she already would know, based off your impact scores, what your concussion scores would be to begin with.
So they can access Laura's data on you, but Laura can't access the data that Dr. Barlow
Does that make
will
sense?
run.
Because she'll never see a name. There's never a name associated with it. Paperwork, once it gets filled out, your name's there, you are now anonymous. Your paperwork is put away outside of a coded name and the data. That's it, okay? There's only a few people on the face of the earth that have access to that data if they really had to, and surely the National Institute of Health and Congress aren't worried about it. Anybody else? All right, please enjoy aerobic strength training and prescription. We'd love to see you guys really soon in the lab. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lowen. All right, do you want a couple of minutes, downtime, breathing space, walk around the building, grab a drink of water, come back? Okay, let's do that, because this won't take us very long, but I need you to be concentrated.